And welcome everyone to a Big Ten men's basketball offseason chat. I'm Andy Katz, pleased to be joined by UCLA head coach Mick Cronin. Mick, you have coached in, I can't even remember how many different leagues you've been in over the course of your head coaching and assistant career. This 18-team, 20-game league stretching across the country, what do you think is going to be the most challenging aspect in year one for UCLA?
Well, I think it'd be the same for all of us. People are going to talk about travel, but that's the obvious. We'll get to that in a minute. I think I always talk about, they used to say to me, like, what are you going to do with you play against Jim Calhoun? Well, we're not playing one-on-one. So I tend to worry about the other team's players. And, there's a lot of good players in this league. There's always good coach on the other sideline, my friend, always. So, I'm worried about the other team's players. The environments in this league on the road are excellent, which is exciting for the players. I think it's easier. People say, oh, man, it's so hard to play at the place. I think it's easier for your guys to get excited, especially when it's cold and we're not used to cold weather, when there's a packed house at Purdue, then versus cold. Like we've had some games and some places where it's like, trying to fire your team up because there's no energy in the building. So I think the players in this league on 18 teams, you're going to have some good teams. You get 18 deep, you're going to have 9 to 11 really good teams. So that's my concern. The last one, buddy, like to travel. For me, I'm more worried about the effects of travel come NCAA tournament time. At the end of the day, we'll mitigate all the other stuff, but the cumulative effect for the NCAA tournament is, what we're about at UCLA is trying to hang the 12th banner, and we've been in 19 Final Fours. So we got to probably learn as we go with that, right, Andy?
So one thing your other colleagues, I'm talking about the other new schools coming into the league, one thing that they echoed to me, and I was looking at your schedule so far of what I know of it, it seems like you're following, for the most part, on the games you can control the same path, which is in the non-conference.
Oh, yeah.
Stay west as much as you can, because in the conference, you're all over the place. You're going to have plenty of quad one games. So how much was that into your thinking of, like, regional rivalries, good games, but also I don't need to go all over the place unless I have to, like the CBS Sports Classic, because of what's going to happen in league?
No doubt about it. I think the one caveat is because at UCLA, our brand, being the blue blood with the most titles, and still, I think we're up to 43 first-round picks, and Coach Wooden, and maybe the greatest ever in Kareem. We're still UCLA, so we're always going to try to make sure we play that non-league schedule at a high clip. I think that's just a trait of the elite programs. And so as you alluded to, we got North Carolina and Madison Square Garden. But our other two games, we're going to play Arizona out here and Gonzaga out here. So no doubt about, you got to try to limit your travel back east to the extent you can do it and still be the program we want to be.
Last year was an anomaly. There's no way that's the norm. We know that. You've had unbelievable success in your career and at UCLA. You went really young. This year, new era of the sport that we're all in, and you went for older guys, transfer portals, a whole slew that are talented across the board. What was the thinking in building this roster?
Oh, well, we just lost. We had some great teams 3 years in a row, and then we just lost them all at the same time. And it's just the facts of the facts. We weren't in a position in the NIL, my friend, to compete for the top transfer. So we ended up with way too many freshmen. I was really proud of the guys for finishing fifth in the Pac-12 last year, being so young and losing our top five leading scorers from the year before. We put a lot of guys in the NBA. So when you put we're going to have 5 or 6 guys on NBA rosters. UCLA will be 17, I think, but just from my short time here, we're going to have 5 or 6 guys, maybe 7. Jules Bernard gets back on the Wizards. So when you lose that many guys that are pros, you're going to go through some turnover. But now the NIL is a little bit different. So we have 6 transfers, and basically maybe the 6 best players on their team where they came from, along with Eric Freeney and Trent Perry. Trent's McDonald's All-American out of Harvard Westlake, a back-to-back state title team. So our talent level is decidedly different, and we're much older. And that's with returning our 3 leading scorers in Dylan Andrews, Sebastian Mack, and Lazarus Stefanovic. So depth is going to be our friend. We got some veteran guys that wanted to come together and believe in the way we do things. So we got some immediate leadership in a guy like Kobe Johnson from USC. He's probably as good a defender as Jalen Clark, and that's saying a lot because he's the best one I ever had on the perimeter. So I think he'll be the best defender in the Big Ten, and can play offense as well. And somebody will get drafted. So I think Sky Clark, if you're going to ask me, like, these guys stand out. Sky Clark, from a talent standpoint, one of the most talented offensive guards I've coached. Tyler Bilodeau, from Oregon State, averaged 15 and 8 as a sophomore. I mean, he's just a stud, can shoot the 3, can score an ISO any way you want him to. So we've added scoring, we've added depth and athleticism. We got a lot of guys. So we'll be aggressive on defense, as you know I like.
All right, last 2 things for you. First off, you've coached in a lot of great buildings. In talking to your colleagues in the Big Ten, they can't wait to coach in Poly if they haven't. Which building, if there is one, because I don't know all of them, have you not coached in the Big Ten that you're looking forward to?
Well, I've coached at Purdue, but we played Michigan State in the NCAA tournament, so I don't know if that counts because, my buddy Matt Painter's, whatever they call his crew behind the visitors bench, the paint crew, be after me. Probably Michigan State. I'm just a big fan of Coach Izzo. What he's done in his career and the way he's done it, with the work ethic and the class that he's accomplished, what he's accomplished in our business. So that one for me. I know I've coached at Indiana, I've coached at Ohio State. Off the top of my head, Rutgers from the Big East days. Already been to Maryland to see my friend Kevin Willard. So. But I think the players are going to love it, right? Because the great student support on the road. But you mentioned it. Everybody, if you're a college coach, you'll like getting a chance to coach one in Pauley Pavilion. I remember when I was at Cincinnati and I scheduled a game here, and how much that meant to me. That I was going to coach one game in my career in Pauley Pavilion. It was so people are focused. You really don't catch anybody sleeping when they walk in here because the coach knows to say this is where John Wooden coached. So people tend to be ready when they walk in this building.
And last thing I know, we've got new coaches at Washington, Danny Sprinkle at USC, Eric Musselman. But Dana Altman's been there quite a while at Oregon. I'm curious because you've coached against him quite a bit the last couple of years. What should Big Ten fans, coaches, players expect with Oregon?
Well, he's got a lot of new players. We're friends. I know we both hit the portal hard, but his teams always improve. That's what I would tell you. And I'm going to give you a caveat that nobody's going to talk about. Tony Stubblefield is back with him. And that is a major, major plus for Coach Altman. Not just their comfort together, Tony's talent, but, Dana Altman's, to me, he's a Hall of Fame coach. And his teams he's going to adjust whatever he needs to do, whether it's man zone, adjust his offense, his defense, his presses. You're talking about a guy's coach at JUCO at Moberly, Creighton. He's been at every level. So he knows how to win, even if he doesn't have the best players. And that's why his teams are always so competitive. He's far from an easy out. Anytime you go against him, you're going against one of the best you're ever going to go against standing on the other sideline.
Well, Mick, can't wait to see you in person. You're going to see a lot more of me. You got Big Ten Network. This is great. Love it.
All right, buddy. Good to see you.